Welcome to the Aesthetics Injector Gang podcast. Having a gang of mentors in this industry has been a blessing that we wanted to share with you. Our core group has been traveling together and comparing notes about life and business for years. Tune in as we delve into topics with others in the industry that you are sure to love and make you laugh.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Aesthetics Injector podcast. You're here with me, Brandon Mullen, and we also have two beauties who are manning Aiyana Atelier Wellness in Alexandria today. We have Angela Burleson and Evelyn Fuentes, who are taking a little break from seeing all the patients today and carving out a little time so that we can get to know a couple more members of the gang a little bit better. So let's start with you, Evelyn. How are you today? How's your day?
Hi, Brandon. Thanks for having me. My day's been good. It's been busy. Things are really picking up. So we're just adjusting to the expansion of wellness and how quickly it's growing.
Love it. And you guys can't see it, but I can see that you're getting a little hydration yourself. So I'm glad that you're taking care of yourself. We've had a long week and it's good that we get this opportunity to kind of relax. So tell the viewers and the listeners how Evelyn got into this crazy world called aesthetics.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So back in 2017, let's see, I was a nurse. I graduated nursing school 2013 or so. 2017 was around the time I was finished with my associates, getting my bachelor's, and I was in the hospital. And, back then as a new nurse, I thought like, okay, finally I made it to like bedside, ANOVA from psych nursing. Yes. And I thought like that was my dream job to work at ANOVA. When I got in there, I was like, all right, no, I can't do this for the rest of my life. And so I started contemplating like what my next move was. And around that time was when Kylie Jenner was making lip fillers and all that stuff big and like making it, a common thing. And everybody was becoming more interested. And, it was all over Instagram. So I was just like, I'd be scrolling Instagram and I started seeing these aesthetic procedures. And I thought like, oh my God, like I'm a nurse. I can do this. Mm-hmm. Like I have the skill set. And so at that time, there really wasn't many training programs or centers or anything. I did like a Google search and then I found like the National Laser Center, I think it's mm-hmm. called now. And I went on like a weekend trip. And then, of course, they make it like, oh, you're good to inject after just 2 days of practicing. They make you feel like comfortable. And you think to yourself, okay, like I think I could do it. But then when you get out there, you really realize like, oh, crap, no. I'm not ready. And at that time, they weren't really talking about all the bad things that happen. Yeah. So then I did another Google search because I wanted to keep expanding my training. And I found Vanessa Lee, who's like one of the only RNs that I knew of at the time that was injecting. So I flew mm-hmm. out to LA. And that training made me feel a little bit better, but still like not enough. It took me a while to really get comfortable. And I think it was just like, I needed to master it in my mind before I felt like I could kind of start doing it on my own. So I continued on Instagram, like scrolling, kind of trying to find people in the area. And there really wasn't much. But then I found Injector Zoe's Instagram. Mm-hmm. And she scared the crap out of me just based on like what I saw. I was so intimidated by her. But I realized she was in Maryland and I was in Virginia. And I was like, holy crap. And so like, one night I was out in the club and mm-hmm. I was tipsy and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get in her DMs. She looks busy. She looks overwhelmed. I'm just going to come in asking her if she wants free help, like an intern. So I type up this whole paragraph and then she replies and she's like, yeah, when can you come in? And I was like, I can come in like the next week or whatever. So, I'm terrified out of my mind because she's so intimidating. And so then I go into the office and she's super cool, super sweet. And she looks at me and she's like, so what do you want out of this? And I was like, I just want to be just like you. I just want to learn everything and I want to be just like you. And I was like, and then she was like, okay, that's fine. That she was willing to help me and I was going to work for free. Mm-hmm. So then that continued for a while, but she like really took me under her wing. kind of helped me set a foundation for myself. And then that led to a couple other really cool opportunities and kind of brought me to here now. But a
Nice.
lot of
So you
network.
did you even inject after that first like 2-day, 8-hour course, or was it after you drunk DM'd Zoe and started connecting with her?
I want to say, yeah, I did. So I found a job at a random small med spa
Hmm.
out in like Leesburg, Virginia, where I started injecting, but it was like they hired me overnight. And then there was supposed to be somebody else there that I was gonna shadow, was gonna guide me. It didn't happen. That person ended up leaving short notice. And so I was like thrown in for like
Hmm.
a full list of patients. And I started with Botox, of course, and then filler was the one that really like intimidated me. But then I spent like just a couple months there, and I started realizing I really need some guidance, like
Hmm.
somebody in the office. And so that's where it began with Zoe.
Okay. And I
Mhm.
love what you said about really investing in yourself too. Like you spent the money to go out to LA to keep furthering your education, because the one thing about this whole profession is that there is no guidebook. There's no college course. You never graduate. You have to build your own resume. So you took it upon yourself to not just rest on your laurels after 8 hours of, I'm sure, what was amazing
Mhm.
technique and didactic. And there's probably a cadaver lab too, right?
No, absolutely
Yeah.
not. Absolutely not.
That's amazing. Okay. I love that little journey for you. A little drunk dial to Zoe. Huh.
Liquid confidence.
Liquid confidence. Okay. So Angela, was it Kylie Jenner's lip filler that got you too, or what happened? Tell us a little bit about you.
So it wasn't Kylie, I can't say that. But I was a nurse. I've been a nurse since 2010. Um, and I worked in the ICU for a while, the neonatal ICU, and I loved it. But there was a lot of older nurses there that had been working there for a very long time, and they were miserable. They were tired of working shift work, night shift, holidays, and you could just tell they were burnout a really long time ago, and they're still doing it. So I told myself that was not going to be me. Went back, got my master's, and then spent most of my early NP career as an ear, nose, and throat NP. Um, Thought I was probably going to do that forever until my boss approached me. And in the ENT practice, they had a facial plastic surgery center where they would do, some minor plastic surgeries, but they also did filler and Botox and some lasers. The manager of the department had recently had a baby and left and decided she didn't want to work anymore. So they were looking for a new manager for the department. And I knew I didn't want to just sit at a computer all day. So they told me that I would be able to inject and they would teach me. So I took the job. I honestly didn't think I was interested in aesthetics at the time. I thought the patient population was completely different than what it actually is. And I thought it was just going to be a lot of unrealistic expectations and a lot of just older clients. But once I started, I loved it, fell in love instantly. But the facial plastic surgery department, it was small. There was 3 rooms and 3+ doctors. So there really wasn't a lot of space to allow me to kind of build what I wanted to build out of it. So
Hmm.
I eventually left and started working 2 med spas part time. Was a little scary because I didn't have a ton of experience at the time. And kind of like you and Evelyn mentioned, there's not a guidebook. So I took an intro to Botox and filler course, and then I was out on my own and I was injecting. So a lot of my first year was spent investing in trainings and Patreons and just soaking up as much as I could from anyone that would have me.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like honestly, that's one of the only reasons I was able to survive, because it is a little intimidating going into such a kind of a high risk profession with not a lot of guidance. So
Absolutely. I know Brandy and Ashley were talking about learning about injecting during COVID, especially like online. There was a lot of resources out there, but they're not anything that was sanctioned or approved. It was just kind of like everybody was just knowledge sharing, and there's a lot of Wild West out there, and I think there's a lot of room that will come down the way as far as regulations and stuff. But I mean, it's refreshing to hear that you guys invested so much in yourselves, because there's not a lot of that out there. And it's hard. We've how many people we ran into that say, I'd like to do this training, but I can't afford it, or people just don't think that the investment will ever pay off because it's not easy to get positions that are coveted, that are worthwhile, that really pique your interest. So um, I love hearing that from you guys. One thing that I wanted to know too was how you guys got introduced to our little gang, right? There's about 8 of us, and I think everyone came in at different points. Ange, I remember yours a little bit better, and Evelyn, I know you probably told me a million times, but what was like your first encounter with the gang? Who was the member? What was the situation? Give us a little S-bar about that.
Yeah, for sure. So for me, again, Instagram coming in hot. So I was, with Zoe, and then Zoe was so popular that I think Ashley was following Zoe, and then Ashley followed me, and I think she figured that I'm in the same area. So I remember she slid in my DMs a couple times wanting to get a drink and stuff, and it took a while um for me to accept that drink offer. But then at that time Ashley was working somewhere else where she was hosting a training with an injector, and I thought, okay, great, again another training to help me feel more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I signed up for it, and I was sitting at the end of this long table, and Ashley was sitting at the head with like
Mm-hmm.
typing away with her big bun at the time. She was
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And after that, I think we just started connecting more. We started connecting more, and then it wasn't until like her last day of her last practice. I literally
Mm-hmm.
was her last patient, and she was like telling me like, this is going to be my last day, etc. And I'm like so surprised. I'm like, what are you talking about? Holy shit, you're going to open your own thing? What? So ever since then, I kind of like really tried to be there for her for that whole transition, and we got super close. And then we went on a conference to Nashville a few years back, just me and her. And that's where Brandy came in, and I met Brandy that first day. And it was
Okay.
like we were like the three little trio for a while
Mm-hmm.
until we started expanding more friends.
Mm-hmm.
So it was instant love, my Capricorn and my Sagittarius.
Yeah, there's a lot of astrological nuances with this group, I think. I want to take a step back to the first time that you met Ashley, because I remember when I met Ashley, it was in 2012, whenever we opened up a hospital in Pittsburgh together. And we were both pulled from like city hospitals to community hospitals. And I remember in day one orientation, I saw her, and it was like she had that jet black hair,
Mm,
higher than heaven. She was super tan. She had these big white teeth. And I'm like, ooh, you look a little bitchy. I think I'm going to like you. You look like you're
yeah.
going to be fun. What, I forget what she looked like in 2017, but was it similar? Did you get that like aura of like, you could be friends, but like kind of like slightly intimidating, but let's go get a drink kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. There was a level of intimidation. And then we definitely interacted during that training. And it was, for me, I can't remember like our second dates and stuff, but for me, it was always like this very loving, motherly energy that she gives
Hmm.
that made me instantly feel comfortable. And like, I started opening up to her because I think I'm pretty conservative and reserved at first. And then her welcoming energy just like made perfect sense for me
Hmm.
to continue my relationship with her.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
these little memories. And Angela, yours was the first time that you came into the gang. Was it the training at Aiyana or was it something different?
Yes, it was the training, a Galderma training that she hosted, and I was
That's
actually
right.
still working. I think I was still working at the plastic surgery center part-time, and then one of the other med spas part-time. And my Galderma rep came in, which was the same rep that Ashley had, and she told me about this training, and I was like, I don't know, like, seems like a little out of my league right now. I just pretty much started injecting. And she's like, no, it's a great group of girls. You'll love it. I promise. I'm like, okay. And at that time, again, any kind of like free training that I could get, I just jumped on. So I
Mm-hmm.
went after work, and it was actually some of the gang was there that day. It was obviously Ashley, Evelyn was there, Brandy was there. I think that was it. So I wasn't there that day. So there was 2 day, I think 2 day training, and I was there one day, and I think the entire gang was there the next day, but I had met a couple of them at the training.
Mm-hmm.
What were we learning? Do you remember?
It was Contour had just come out, and it was a contour training.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember
Who
you
was
brought
hosting?
Kevin Harrington.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love Kevin.
A lot
Yeah.
of people were there.
Yeah. So it was obviously a great training, and so Ashley and I have a shared employer in our past, and I knew about that a little bit going into it.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the training, I walked up to Ashley, and I just wanted to pick her brain about it because I was working there at the time, and she was just so instantly like reassuring.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately she offered me her number, and she was like, if you ever need to talk, if you ever need any advice, let me know. She was just giving me so many recommendations about like things I need to do, trainings I need to take. And she had never met me before. So I
Mm-hmm.
felt like instantly comfortable. And I remember leaving that training feeling like, oh my gosh, like I finally feel like I have a resource that I can go to, because as a new injector, like you really don't, like you have to kind of meet people along the way, and it's
Nope.
hard. There's a lot of different personalities in this industry, and you never know what you're going to get.
Right.
So after that, I decided to do a shadow day with her, and came scheduled, spent the day with her, and then we went out and had like dinner and drinks after. I remember just like talking for hours about life and aesthetics and things like that. And it felt like I was just like sitting down with my best friend, even though it was the second time we had been together.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after that, the whole gang was going on a trip to Utah to train with Shelby Miller.
Mm-hmm.
And there was somehow like an open spot to go. And I think you actually were the one to reach out to me, and you emailed me, and you're like, hey, there's a spot. Let me know if you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And instantly I was like, yes, please. So I went, and
I was like, this girl's brave, because I don't know if I would travel across the country with a random group of strangers to do a training. Like,
yeah, I sat down.
that was a lot. That was a commitment.
Yeah, the couple days before, I sat down with my husband. I'm like, what did I get myself into? Like, it's not like something I could just leave if I didn't feel comfortable. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. And I went, and of course, it was fine. I felt kind of the same vibe I got from Ashley the first time. Like these people had always been like some really good friends of mine, and it wasn't the first time that I had met them, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is really rare in life in general, and then especially this industry.
100%.
Yeah, and then after spending however many days we were there, it was like, okay, well, these are just my people now, you know?
Right.
And then, it's history ever since.
History ever since. Yeah. And for those that are listening too, Evelyn and Angela don't get to work together all the time. Today is like not a one-time special, but today they're combating wellness together. But Angela has the Middleburg location basically to herself. That opened up in January of this year. God, it seems like forever, but it really hasn't been that long, right? And it was, wow, I don't even, sometime late summer of 22 that the whole idea of Middleburg even came about. But really, Middleburg is because of you. It's there wouldn't be Middleburg without Angela.
I know. I remember when Ashley approached me with that idea, and I don't even think she got the full sentence out. And I was like, yeah, yes. I joke with her all the time because, like, I'm pretty sure to this day, like, I still probably haven't read my contract fully. Like, I probably promised my firstborn child. But again, it's like once you, like, jobs in this industry are hard. You can work for some really shady people. So
Mhm.
once you find somebody that is not only like an amazing boss, but a nice person as well, it's like, okay, I'm not questioning it. We're just going with it.
Yeah, and that's a lot because it's not like just a job. You're sort of like your own little business owner there because you have
Yeah.
to do all the things. You're sweeping the floor, you're doing the laundry. You gotta
Inventory.
you gotta what?
Inventory.
Inventory, yeah,
Still
all the
struggle with that.
things. Hey, I struggle too. I can barely count. I don't know why she employs me, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot, and she knew that you were up to the task, obviously, because she wouldn't have entrusted you to continue the brand and the solo injector model out there if she didn't. So, it's been amazing. But I think that you know what I love about the both of you is how you're speaking to how important having a gang is, having a crew, having that support in this industry in general, but just in life, because I mean, I think anyone can feel lonely in any type of job, right? But I think this industry is just a little bit more unique. There's a lot more social media drama, or
Uh,
anything like that. Or
a lot of comparison for sure. And when
hmm
I started, there was nobody. Like, I didn't know anybody who
hmm
was doing this truly. And the only way I could find anything around was Instagram. So I always, like, I'm super thankful that I came in at the time that I came in, because now it's becoming like more difficult. But I'm super happy with the people I've met along the way. But it was
hmm
because of social media. Like, there was no other way I would have met
right,
anybody, I don't think.
right. It's almost like dating. Like you're not going to be on an app and find another injector or boss that you're going to like to kind of like match up with. Is there a
Hmm.
Tinder for aesthetics?
I mean, we can
Should
create
there
it.
be?
Don't give Ashley any new business
We
ideas.
can create it.
No, we're done. No business ideas. The Tahoe's full. We're good.
Yeah, but it was that trip to Utah where I was literally thinking about it this morning. I was like, oh, do you remember when we were in all the trucks staring at the mountains? But it was that trip that I don't know, it was so like beautiful. It was like the perfect environment, the perfect mixture of people.
hmm
And I think that's where Ashley literally started sparking her idea of expanding
hmm
based on like the fact that there's many injectors out here that are just kind of lost, and she just wants to be like a little help out there. And she
Well, mom
yeah,
to
She
death.
wants to be mom. We affectionately call her mom all the time in her texts, but we tell her to her face too. But we love mom. She likes to handhold her. What Angela was saying about giving those tips and contacts and offering her number when you just met. Like people don't do that in this industry. It can be a little catty and comparing and feeling less than or more than. There's a lot of emotion, I think, more so than a lot of other professions. But that's why I think we love this gang, because we can blow up a group chat about anything. It could be about work, it could be about life, opinions on fashion, whatever it needs to be that day.
yeah,
um it's
Yeah.
great.
I feel like there's a lot of injectors in the area that I feel comfortable going to for like injecting
hmm
advice or knowledge, but not many that I feel comfortable going to for like life stuff. So I think
hmm
it's kind of cool when you can have both in one group.
hmm absolutely. So I know that like today's a one-off and you guys don't get to work together all the time, but how is it working together? Do you guys like it? I mean,
Fun. It makes me sad when I go back to Middleburg and I'm by myself. I'm like, where's Evelyn? Where's Ashley? Where's Brandon? Where's everyone?
yeah,
I
for
know. Oh,
I get lonely as well when When Angela's not on the days that she's not here, I get lonely because it's just me
Mm-hmm.
in between patients. So it's nice having somebody in the office. I've always worked pretty much alone, so it's definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
But 100%, I love it more. It makes the day easier, less stressful, and more fun for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know that. So for you guys that are listening, Angela completed, what was it, 3-4 month residency side by side in Alexandria. My God, I miss you too. Oh, when I'm there by
No.
myself anymore, it's like I wish there were three of me, or I don't know. There's like three people in my head, and then physically I need at least one more to do stuff. But it was so nice having you there. But it's a tiny space in Alexandria. I mean, it's hard for just the two of us to get in there with patients running around, but um that's the business model that she likes. She likes to hustle and run around. And I mean, if I had a camera to watch her run around all day, I think I'd probably go blind, because just seeing her bob back and forth, it would be mind numbing. But
Yeah.
um what I think is beautiful and unique is that the patients almost respect that too, that they can see her physical hustle, and they understand if she's a couple minutes behind, or they'll bring. I've never been in an industry where people bring so many food and beverages to one person, and then I somehow get included in that, which is super cute. But
A lot of
it's
bourbon.
a lot of bourbon. We have more bourbon than any liquor store in Old Town, but it comes in handy. But no, I love seeing you two in wellness, and it's been blowing up. And thank you, Evelyn, for spearheading all of that. We're looking forward to continuing to build it out and add some new things to make it a little bit more plush and luxurious, and some memberships and all kinds of fun, right?
Of course. Now we have the three massage chairs are up here.
Oh,
So
they came. Oh, yay!
yeah, it
How was
looks really
that?
good
Do they
in the
look cute?
yeah, I took a
Yeah,
video. But it looks really good in that VIP room. And then there's one out front.
yeah.
And the
Okay.
fridge arrived, so if you want to help us with that.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. I'll just keep it out there till Tuesday. I tried to have them deliver it next week, but they weren't really having that. So we'll give Ryan something to do, or we could strap it on Renegade's back and see if he can mush it up the stairs. We
For
really
sure.
should. All right. Well, it looks like it's coming to the end of our time, but before we depart today, so Evelyn, how do people get a hold of you if they would like to slide into your DMs, or vice versa, since Instagram seems to be your main mode of
I
getting
know.
into good situations, it sounds like.
No, definitely. I love Instagram. I hope it never dies. But
Never.
they can contact me on Instagram, and my messages is fine. I'm at aesthetic _, and that's aesthetic with an A,
Hmm.
ESTETICEV _NP. And that's fine. Yeah, I'm always on my phone, so
Okay. Yes, you are the queen of Instagram. Someday, please carve out some time to teach me how to use it. I am that geriatric millennial that probably will never get it, but you seem to do that so well. And especially when we're out at dinner, she is the best. So if nothing else, then follow Evelyn for her awesome coverage of food, because we're huge foodies. Anytime we go out, she is doing an amazing job doing a recap, and she can do it in like 3 seconds. I don't know. She must have like a double jointed wrist or something, because she can do that video and the boomerangs like no other mother.
It's really funny because my husband, I think, who has met Evelyn maybe like once, every time we're out to eat and we have a lot of food, he's like, Evelyn needs to be here to film this. So,
Uh-huh.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
And then people go out to eat with me and they know, do you want to take a picture of this? Do you want to take a video? They don't
Mhm.
even touch it before I get to it.
Yes, I've learned my lesson. Never touch it until it's recorded. So hopefully that won't fall out of trend anytime soon.
No, never.
Never. All right, Angela, how do the listeners get a hold of you, my dear?
I think Instagram also is the easiest. I am at Hunt Country Injector. Exactly how it sounds. I'm sometimes not the quickest to respond to messages, but I always check at least once a day. And if you don't hear back from me, always resend because I'm not ignoring you.
Absolutely. Love that. And love that handle. That's so good because whenever she took on Middleburg, that's just so fitting for the area. We love it. And you can also book with her on our website, www.aiyanaatelier, AIYANAATELIER.com. I have to say that little anagram in my head because it's kind of the only way I remember how to spell it too. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really hope you enjoyed getting to know 2 more members of this awesome gang just a little bit more. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Thanks, Brandon.
Love
Bye.
you. Love you. Bye.
Love you long time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and comment. Follow us on Instagram at The Aesthetics Injector Gang.